In your classes, I always remember you talking about audience,
Oh,
and it made me wonder, who is the audience for your book? I can imagine who, and I recommend your book to people. But I'm curious, like from the mouth of the author, who did you have in mind when you're writing this, and who's it for?
When I started uh, drafting the manuscript, um, this was a this was a pivotal issue for me. Um, I I harbored a distant hope that more than just myself would read this book, and that meant that I had to figure out who I might have intended to read it. Um, I tried to make the case in the preface that I think this book is, um, and maybe it's special bleeding. I think this book is for just about anyone who is willing to step out, um, or who wants to step out of their daily routines and their comfort zones and to try something new, to take a risk. Uh, this um, the story of the book, in a way, is all about risks. Obviously, buying the cabin, neither Linda nor I had um, any idea where the money was going to come from to do that, and then neither one of us knew how we were going to come up with the money um, to make that cabin into what we had hoped it would be. But we took that risk. Um, for me, um, although I'd done other projects uh, with wood, uh, I'd never been engaged in anything quite this ambitious before, but I always wanted to. I remember Linda and I were traveling to see friends in upstate New York way back when I I think I was uh, all but a dissertation many years ago in the 70s, and we drove by on a Sunday on a big major highway, um, a house in the process of being constructed, and I looked, and there were three people on the building doing various kinds of chores as we sped by at 70 miles an hour. I want a piece of that. I want to do that. Um, at the time, there would have been no chance. I had no skills to be able to do that. Um, the audience that I have in mind really doesn't have anything to do specifically with carpentry. I make it pretty clear at some points in the book. Look, if you're looking for a carpentry book, if you're looking for a how-to book, you're barking up the wrong tree. I'm not the guy to write that book. I can't do it. Um, but if you're looking for somebody who is willing to take a risk, wants to take a risk, wants to try something different, and is willing to put him or herself out there, um, then read on, Macduff. Um, I struggled too with the idea that maybe there was something sexist about my approach to this book. Um, Men only need apply to read this book because people are using hammers to pound nails and saws to cut wood, and tapes to um, you know measure twice and cut once. But I've come to understand, probably through Linda and the many skills that she had developed, taught herself, making jewelry, one of those, um, that women can find themselves in this book as well. Um, if you want to be constrictive and say, well, if you're talking about the building trades, what about them? Where are the women in it? They're all over the place in it. They're driving heavy equipment. They're operating jackhammers. They're doing all kinds of things. They're climbing all over buildings. And but the key here is not that. The key is taking a chance, stepping out of what's comfortable to you, and trying something different. And so I guess maybe that's why I decided to address that big audience in the colloquial and sometimes irreverent and might I say self-abasing um, tone that I use in the book. I'm making fun of myself throughout this book. Make no mistake about it. A number of years ago, I think it might have been 7 or 8 years ago, the last time that I took a shot at a publisher was a publisher in Duluth, and I was talking to Karen about this last night. Sent him the manuscript, and he wrote back a week later. Um, Something to the effect of, "You're making fun of the reader. I mean, you're laughing at the reader. You're not taking your subject seriously, and so no, we're not interested in this manuscript at all." I think he completely missed the boat. Uh, my approach here basically was to show the reader that I was learning as I was going and making mistakes all over the place, which I want to do in all kinds of endeavors. And it wasn't really my intention to to um, to use that approach to trick the audience into thinking that I was, trying to humanize my subject for my readers. It's just the way I am. It's my voice. I'm talking directly to that audience, um, not above or below them, and I'm showing the dings and scratches on myself along the way, just the way it is. So.